are renewing their wedding vows. That's what's happening. Because at the altar, they say, I am totally yours. I'm freely, fully, faithfully, and fruitfully yours. In the sexual embrace, that's what they're saying again. And they're not simply saying it with words, they're re-participating in the sacrament. In fact, it's like this. You and I, we go to confession because we need grace, right? We become holier. We go to adoration, we go to Mass and receive the grace of the Eucharist because we want to become holier. Did you realize that as often as a husband and wife enter the sexual embrace, this is just what Father Mike is saying, this is what St. Thomas Aquinas had said, every time, as often as a husband and wife enter into the sexual embrace in a state of grace, they are growing in grace and in glory. Which is one of the reasons why I want to have like a book that I can write called How to Get Holy Through Good Sex or something like this, because blows the mind that this is actually the teaching of the church. Why does the church say that sex is is only for marriage? It's not because, okay, it's dirty, because it's kind of gross, and so you need to save it for someone you're really special, someone's really special, someone you really love. Like, no, it's because sex is so good. It's actually not just good, it's holy. Not just holy, it is a path to holiness. If a sacrament is a sacred sign instituted by Christ that gives grace, that gives the very life of God, and marriage is a sacrament, and the sexual embrace is the renewal of that marital sacrament. As often as a husband and wife enter into the sexual embrace in a state of grace, they are growing in grace, they are growing in glory. This is incredible. This is remarkable. In fact, whenever I tell our couples this, it goes from one hand, which is like, oh my gosh, that's weird. That seems really weird. I don't know if I can they imagine that when it gets to that point in their relationship where they're married and they're having sexual embrace, that they're going to shut the door and say, okay, God, stay outside. We're going to shut the door. We'll open the door for you when we're done. And they're just kind of queasy, kind of squeamish about the idea of like, no, God is participating in this. On the other hand, you have people who are mad. I've had brides who are so mad, like, why didn't they tell us this when I was in high school? Why didn't I hear about this beforehand? Why is the church keeping this so secret? And the answer is, I don't know. And not intentionally being kept a secret. This is just the truth. The truth is that as often as a husband and wife enter into the sexual embrace in a state of grace, they are growing in grace and growing in glory. Again, I want to say it. It's like when you go to adoration, when you go to confession, when you go to Mass and receive the grace of God through confession, the grace of God through the Eucharist. Husbands and wives, when you enter into the sexual embrace in a state of grace, you're receiving the grace of God by being a gift of yourself in the name of Jesus to your bride, to your groom. This should transform the way in which husbands and wives approach each other. It changed the way boyfriends and girlfriends and fiancés approach each other as well, because this is one of those things where I can't celebrate the sacrament until the sacrament's been ratified, right? I can't actually consummate the sacrament until the sacrament has been ratified. And so that's why the church says, hey, stay away from premarital sex, not because it's bad, but because it is so incredible that actually it's meant to be the pathway to holiness, not the road to hell. It's meant to be an expression of love, not an expression of mutual self-destruction. It is so good, such a gift. So my invitation is, if you're dating, invite the Lord into those small gestures of affection, those embraces, those kisses. Invite the Lord into that. Okay, Lord, you're part of this. If you're married, to be able to approach your spouse with that sense of, okay, we're actually renewing our vows here. In renewing our vows, we're allowing the Lord to give us a renewed dose of sanctifying grace, His very life that transforms our lives and raises us up to the level of saint.